For the cheapest coins with fast delivery and quick customer support, check out my sponsor, Red Zone Coins, and use code SWIFT at checkout for 20% off.
So family, and today I'm coming back at you guys with another episode of the beloved MUT team reviews on the channel. This is essentially a series in which you guys send me your teams, and I give you some advice regarding upgrades, talk about whether I like the players you've got in each position, and give you some suggestions for the best chemistries and abilities to rock on your team. Now before we hop into the video, if you guys are enjoying the team review series on the channel, be sure to drop a like down below. If we can get to 1,000 likes, I will make a part 4 to this, going over even more of your guys' teams, and if you want an opportunity at being featured in that video, be sure to follow me on Twitter because I will put out a tweet if I'm doing another part to this, and you basically just reply to that tweet with your team, and then you'll have a chance at being featured in the video. Please don't DM me photos of your team. I got hundreds and hundreds of those after the last couple of episodes, so I'd really appreciate it if you just follow the Twitter and then wait until I put out a tweet and then just comment your team there for the best chance at being reviewed live on a video. Now without further ado, let's hop into the first team of today's episode. So starting this off right here, we've got a 95 overall squad, so a little bit of a budget team, but that just means we've got even more room for upgrades. As we take a look at the offense, he's going to have Lamar Jackson and Barry Sanders. He's also got 99 overall Michael Irvin and 95 DK Metcalf to go along with 96 overall Mark Andrews. The offensive line definitely needs some work, so I can probably give you some suggestions there, but I do like those skill position players for more of a budget squad. As we move on to the defensive side of the ball, we'll start with the defensive line. He's going to have JJ Watt, Shelby Harris, Mean Joe Green, and Michael Strahan, so that's pretty solid right there. As we move on to the linebacker core, I see he's got Luke Kuechly, Isaiah Simmons, and Von Miller, so I do like that for a budget team. Then Jason McCourty, Deion Sanders, and Mel Renfro to go along with Eric Berry and Brian Dawkins at the safety position. So let's move on to a couple of upgrades that I think you could be making for this team. So starting it off on the offensive side of the ball, I can see you've got Jedrick Wills at left tackle. I would say you look for someone like Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle. He's a 97 overall. He's not going to be that expensive, and in my opinion, the two most important spots on your offensive line are both of your tackle positions. So if you can solidify those two spots, your offensive line will play much better. So I'd replace Marcus Gilbert with someone like Ryan Ramczyk. And as we move on to the defensive side, I can see you've got a couple of players where you haven't actually finished their power up. So you've got Deion Sanders at a 90 overall. If you continue that power up, you can get him up to a 99 with chemistries, and the exact same thing with Mean Joe Green. He's only at a 92, so I would probably recommend for the time being that you look into powering up Deion Sanders and Mean Joe Green, because I can see you've already got those power ups started, and then maybe grab someone like Ryan Ramczyk at the right tackle position. Otherwise, it looks like you're running your abilities on Lamar Jackson, Barry Sanders, and Michael Irvin, so really good on the offensive side of the ball. On the defense, it looks like you've got Brian Dawkins, Eric Berry, and the final player is going to be Luke Kuechly. So that looks pretty solid for the defense. I would say maybe you could throw abilities on JJ Watt if you wanted to, but otherwise, I do like the way this team is looking, and a pretty solid construction for a budget team in my personal opinion. So moving on to the second team of today's video, we've got a 98 overall no money spent squad, and I can see this guy's got 1 million coins to work with, so we have plenty of room to make some changes on this team. As we take a look at the offense here, he's going to have Lamar Jackson, Golden Ticket at quarterback, Barry Sanders, Randy Moss, Michael Thomas, and Torrey Holt at wide receiver. The tight end position's got Shannon Sharp, and the offensive line is pretty solid. It could maybe use a little bit of work, but I think you're looking pretty good right there. As we move on to the defensive side of the ball, he's got Ryan Shazier, Brian Urlacher, Von Miller, and Chandler Jones in the linebacker core. The defensive line's got Deacon Jones, Alan Page, Mean Joe Green, and DeMarcus Lawrence. So some pretty solid cards right there. And then the secondary's got Byron Jones, Chris Harris Jr., Kyle Fuller, and Taylor Mays. So let's start it off with a couple upgrades on the defensive side of the ball. I think the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get Jadeveon Clowney instead of Chandler Jones at the right outside linebacker spot. Jadeveon Clowney is literally a glitch. You guys hear me preach about that card so much, so I would recommend you sell the Chandler Jones and power up your Jadeveon Clowney. It shouldn't actually cost you that much, because you're still going to be able to sell off everything in the Chandler Jones power up, so that'd be the first change I would make on the defense. Secondly, you could also power up someone like Bruce Smith at the left end position. I actually was in the exact same spot as you. I had DeMarcus Lawrence powered up. He didn't really play that great for me. I ended up powering Bruce Smith and replacing the DeMarcus Lawrence at that spot, so that could be a pretty solid thing you can do. Bruce Smith is going to get the secondary position of the left end spot, so you're going to be totally fine right there with all the chemistries on that card. Otherwise, I don't know that I would change too much on this defense. I think it looks pretty good. So as we move on to the offensive side of the ball, let's take a look at a couple of potential upgrades. Firstly, Dwight Stevenson. I'm assuming you've done this already, but he actually did get a new power-up expansion card. card. So you can use just a little bit of training and you can get him all the way up to a 99 overall, which is definitely pretty solid. I'm quickly going to take a look at Juwan James's stats on Madden because I'm curious how good he is. If the stats are solid, I'm probably not going to recommend you switch him, but let me just quickly take a look at his stats and see if you can maybe make an upgrade there. Yeah, so I'd actually say Juwan James looks pretty solid. I would probably keep both your tackles as they are and maybe just go for someone like Jadeveon Clowney at the right outside linebacker spot and then Bruce Smith at the left end position, and I think you'll be pretty set with your team. I do like the way this one looks. Let's just take a look at the abilities really quickly. Offense, he's got Lamar Jackson, Barry Sanders, and Randy Moss with abilities, so that is absolutely perfect right there. As we move on to the defense, he's going to have Brian Dawkins and Taylor Mays, as well as Deacon Jones with abilities. I think what you could do is once you do end up getting that new Jadeveon Clowney card, which is definitely what I'd recommend you do, you could take your abilities off of either Brian Dawkins or Taylor Mays and put them on that card, because like you guys have heard me say, Jadeveon is an absolute glitch, especially when you get abilities on him, but a good team. Let's move on to the third team of today's video though. Okay, so moving on to the next team of today's video, we've got a 94 overall, more of a budget team, and I can see that right now he's only sitting at around 900 coins, so you're definitely gonna have to play some solos in order to get that coin count up. But let's take a look at the offense right here. He's got Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Barry Sanders at running back to go along with Tyreek Hill, Torrey Holt, and Randy Moss at the receiver spots, and then he's got George Kittle's Nat Card at tight end. The offensive line is looking solid. I do like the fact that he's got two good tackles. You guys know that I preach tackles are much more important than interior offensive linemen, so he's definitely doing that right there. We could make a couple of changes to the interior offensive line. I'll probably give you a couple of suggestions for cards there, which you could look to pick up. So moving on to the defense, he's got 99 overall Ryan Shazier at middle linebacker, Jadeveon at right outside linebacker, and Harold Landry at left outside linebacker. The secondary does look really good. I wouldn't change that at all. Kevin Byard, Pat Tillman, Stephon Gilmore, and Mel Renfro. All those cards have pretty solid stats. And then the defensive line is definitely where we can make a couple of changes. Dwight Freeney, I'm assuming, is not going to play great for you, and I don't know how well Julius Peppers 92 is going to play for you, but I've definitely got a couple of suggestions which you can make to make some upgrades to the squad. The first one is going to be getting someone like Reggie White's 94 overall NFL 100 card. You can play him at right end, and he gets really, really good stats. He's only going to cost you around 15,000 coins. I'm also going to make a couple of suggestions when it comes to the offensive line for a couple of interior offensive linemen which you can look to pick up that are going to be pretty cheap for you. Okay, so a couple of players that I think could be really good on this team would be someone like Eric Wood at center, and if you pick up Bruce Matthews at left guard, you'll have a couple of really nice pieces on the interior of the offensive line, and they're really not going to cost you that much either, so definitely a few players you can look to pick up at those positions, and I think will definitely make your offensive line much, much better. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch too much. It looks like you're doing a pretty solid job with this budget team, but making those few changes will definitely be able to improve your squad, and it should only cost you around 50,000 coins to make all those tweaks, so just play a couple solo challenges and get those coins up, and you'll definitely be able to make those upgrades to your squad. Okay, so next up we've got a 97 overall team, and we'll start this off by going over the offense as we usually do. He's got Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Barry Sanders at running back to go along with Tyreek Hill, Randy Moss, and Cortland Sutton at wide receiver. I actually don't see Cortland Sutton too much online, but he does have some pretty good stats. At the tight end position, he's gonna have Mark Andrews. You guys know I absolutely love Mark as a budget tight end. The offensive line is gonna give us Brian Walters, Adam Timmerman, Marshall Yonda, Mitchell Schwartz, and Andrew Thomas. So pretty solid on the offensive line. Definitely maybe you could get a new center. As we move on to the defense though here, we'll start it off on the D-line with Jarrell Casey, Warren Sapp, Shelby Harris, and Chase Young. The corners are going to give us Deion Sanders, Byron Jones, and Champ Bailey. So definitely a really, really good secondary. He's also going to have Brian Dawkins, Pat Tillman, and Jamal Adams. So wow, that is actually a really good secondary. Isaiah Simmons, AJ Johnson, and Von Miller are going to be the linebackers on this team. One key change that I think right off the bat you're going to need to do is you're going to need to get Ryan Shazier up to a 99. I can see you've got him hidden down there at middle linebacker 4. I'm not sure how high of an overall he is, but I did make a video on how you can get your Shaz up to a 99 very, very easily. So that's one quick thing that I would definitely recommend. Then on the offensive line, like I said for the last person, you could pick up Eric Wood at center. He's actually got some really good stats. He's powered up to, I believe, a 97 overall on my team right now, and he's only going to cost you almost 20,000 coins. To power him up, I think it's only going to cost you like 50k, so definitely a pretty inexpensive power up right there. But otherwise, I'd say this team is pretty good for a 97 overall. I can see you've only got 58,000 coins, so I know it's a little bit boring, but you could definitely use those coins to pick up a center. Definitely do not touch the secondary. It looks very good, and then try and grind to get your Ryan Shazier up to a 99, and I think you'll be in a pretty good spot. Now we'll just quickly take a look at the abilities. It looks like right now you've got Brian Dawkins activated. It also looks like Von Miller's activated, and the final player I think is Byron Jones is what it looks like. I'm not exactly sure, but you could maybe switch off Byron Jones and go for someone like Jamal Adams. I can see you've got him hidden at the second safety spot, so if you've got him all the way up to his 98 overall version with chems, he does play really well with abilities. And then the offense, it looks like we've got Randy Moss, we've got Barry Sanders, and Lamar Jackson, so that's definitely really good when it comes to the offensive abilities right there. So for the next team here, we've got a god tier, a 98 overall squad for someone that has 3 million coins. So as we started off on the offense, he's going to have Cam Newton, Walter Payton, Tyreek Hill, Randy Moss, Torrey Holt. Then the offensive line looks great, and he's also got Evan Ingram at tight end. So that's a full 99 overall offense. As we take a look at the defense here, he's going to have Aaron Donald, Mean Joe Green, Warren Sapp, and Myles Garrett. So incredible defensive line. He's also got Byron Jones, Deion Sanders, Denzel Ward, Taylor Mays, and Ronnie Lott to go along with Ryan Shazier, Jadeveon Clowney, and Lawrence Taylor. So this is an absolutely incredible team. Right off the bat, I gotta tell you, I think you have to switch out Cam Newton. I do not like Cam Newton at all as a golden ticket QB. I know he's one of the cheapest ones out there, so you could upgrade to someone a little bit more expensive like Josh Allen. Josh Allen plays absolutely great. Or if you want to really spend a lot of coins, you could get someone like RG3 or Lamar Jackson. But personally, I would say you should sell that Cam and grab someone like Josh Allen because he is going to be an absolute beast for you. Other than that, there's not too much I'd like to change on this offense. I think it looks really good. So I would say you're pretty nice on offense. On the defensive side of the ball, you've got almost the exact same team as me. One player that I don't know I absolutely love is Denzel Ward. If you want, you could power up Champ Bailey. He's going to give you better stats than the Denzel. But other than that, I really do like the way this team is constructed. So maybe it's time to start picking up some golden tickets. Save up for the Calvin Johnson at free safety maybe. That's up to you though. But firstly, right off the bat, I think you got to get someone like Josh Allen at quarterback. He's going to play a lot better than Cam Newton. But otherwise, this is a very good team, and I do really like the way it was constructed. So shout out to you for that one. So this will probably be the second last team in today's video, and as you can see, he's got a 98 overall team with about 300,000 coins and plenty of training as well. Starting off on the offense, he's got RG3 and Bo Jackson. So you're set for the rest of the game there at quarterback and running back. At wide receiver, he's got Randy Moss, Odell Beckham Jr., and Torrey Holt. So I do like that receiving core, and then Tony G at tight end. On the offensive line, there's a couple players that I really like. I think Frank Ragnow has actually probably the best stats for a center when it comes to value and getting a really high overall card. So huge fan of that right there. And David DeCastro is also going to be a really good right guard. If you guys are looking for some upper echelon players at those positions that are going to give you really good value for their stats, those are two players you can definitely look to. As we change to the defense though, I can see you don't have Shazier all the way up to a 99, so you got to get that Shaz up to a 99. An outside linebacker, he's called Anthony Barr and Lawrence Taylor, so definitely very interesting. You must be playing with Anthony Barr in coverage. If you are pass rushing Anthony Barr, it's time for you to get someone like Jadeveon Clowney at that position. As we move on to the secondary, Ronnie Lott and Taylor Mays, absolutely perfect. And then Byron Jones, Pat Pete, and Jalen Ramsey, so I do really like that core. Now, one tweak I could see you making on the defense is removing DeMarcus Lawrence and getting someone like Bruce Smith. You guys know I absolutely love the Bruce Smith card. He's going to give you great value for his price, and his stats are going to be much better than DeMarcus, and of course you can get him up to a 99 overall as well, really easily with a power up, or even without powering up. You just put some chems on him, he should be able to get up to a 99 as well. So definitely a huge fan of this team. A couple of interesting players. The Anthony Barr is an interesting card to have at left outside linebacker. I'm not sure how you play with him. If you play with him in space and you play with him in coverage, then definitely leave him there because he's going to be a good coverage linebacker. But if he's pass rushing the quarterback, it's time for you to get someone that's more of a pass rusher. You could go for someone like Jadeveon Clowney, play Lawrence Taylor at left outside linebacker, and Jadeveon at right outside, and both those cards will be 99 overalls. But good team. I do like this squad, and I do like that you went with those value options at center and right guard in Frank Ragnow and David DeCastro. I think more people should be using those cards because they do have really good stats. So good find on those two players. Abilities wise, you've got RG3, Bo Jackson, and Randy Moss, so that looks good right there. On the defense, it looks like you've got Lawrence Taylor activated, Aaron Donald and Taylor Mays. So I do like the way that's constructed. I wouldn't change that at all. So for the final team of today's video, we've got another 98 overall squad. My guy's got 300,000 coins, so definitely some opportunity to make some moves. As we started off on the offense, he's got Josh Allen, who in my opinion is one of the best value golden ticket quarterbacks. At running back, he's got Bo Jackson, Julio Jones, Jerry Rice, and Torrey Holt at the receiver spots. In terms of the offensive line, I really like the way it looks. I can see you've got Larry Little up to a 99 with that new power-up expansion. Joe Thomas, Dan Dierdorf, Kevin Y, and Randall McDaniel. So that does look really good right there. Moving on to the defense, there's definitely a couple people I could see you upgrading. As you can see, he's got Tre'Davious right at the cornerback 1 spot. I actually had Tre'Davious on my team as a corner for a while, and I feel like changing to Byron Jones or Champ Bailey is going to give you a lot of increased play. I can see you have Calvin Johnson and Brian Dawkins as 2 golden ticket free safeties, so I'm assuming you rock with those players at corner, so you definitely have a pretty interesting scheme going on. And then Ryan Shazier clearly isn't up to a 99 overall as well, so definitely someone you can look to get up at that position. I wouldn't touch the defensive line. The D-line looks really, really good. Troy Polamalu and Pat Tillman at strong safety. Keith Bullock at the right outside linebacker spot, so definitely a very interesting defense. I'm assuming you play with a lot of people out of position because you've also got Mike Evans at the cornerback 3 spot, and then you've got Ronnie Lott at the corner 2 position, so I don't know how much Tre'Davious White plays for you. If he does play a lot, you could get someone like Champ Bailey or Byron Jones. I think they are going to give you definitely some increased play, and then maybe try and get that Shaz up to a 99, but a very interesting defense. On the offense, there's not too much I would change either. I'm assuming you're waiting for George Kittle to get a power-up expansion card. I think that probably should happen in the next little bit, so you'll be able to get him up to a 99. And then on the offensive line, I think you're pretty set. I wouldn't touch any of that either. Kevin Wise 99 is super pricey, so no need to get that right there. Now at left outside linebacker, I can't tell if you've got Lawrence Taylor's highest overall card. I don't think you do, because I think he's a 99 at left outside linebacker. If you do have it though, just put him at right outside linebacker, and he should go up to a 99 at left. If you don't yet have his 99, I think that would also be an upgrade you could potentially make, but otherwise, I do like this team, and I do like the way it was constructed. Very, very interesting construction in the defense, with a lot of safeties. It looks like you're playing with at the same time instead of some corners, so definitely very interesting there, and then the offense is looking pretty good in terms of value. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this 3rd installment of team reviews. This has been a really popular series on the channel, and I'm so excited you guys have shown so much support on it, because it's a really fun way to interact with you guys and see some of your guys' teams. Again, if you do want to be featured in the next episode, simply follow me on Twitter. It is at SwiftYouTube. I will put out a tweet if I'm doing another episode of this, and you'll basically just reply to that with photos of your team, because that's exactly how I record the video. Please do not DM me your teams on Instagram or Twitter. I got so many DMs after the last episode. I'd really appreciate it if you guys just follow me on Twitter and then wait until I put up the team reviews, and you'll have a chance at getting reviewed there live. So that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and until next time, fellas, I'm out. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
So,